Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Anyway, here is Jay, who endorses this program and the thoughts on it. And I hope it's okay because, you know, I do reverse mortgages, but I don't want to overdo it. I enjoy doing the show, but give me a call for information right there. 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233, and of course, drheckham.com. And doctor, we spoke with a real doctor a little bit ago, HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, which, like I have said in the past, it's not going to necessarily make you lose any equity. It's going to make that equity liquid. And then as far as losing on the overall prospect, even if you do take money out and continue to take money out, we have been increasing in value in everybody that can hear me directly. I mean, not in, I know this is worldwide, so if you're in Paris or London, I don't know what the prices are, but I do know that in California, we've been for the last 61 years, which is not as old as me, our appreciation rate has been like 5.9%. So since the rates are definitely less than that and usually are, you're going to be gaining all the way through, and your legacy is going to end up quite a bit higher. I don't want to get into that too much, but Phil Walker did. He showed how your legacy and how your portfolio or investments will do much better for those people who have, you know, $2 million ish or maybe less, $10 like me. And, you know, so please take a look for him on my YouTube channel. Request it directly from me. I'll send you the video. You know, if you request anything from me and I have your phone number, I have your email address, I'm not going to keep using it. I will only bug you when you want me to bug you. I will only call or email when you want a return call or email. So that's that. We were talking about Lovecraft, and that is H.P. Lovecraft, American writer of weird science fantasy and horror fiction. Now, Howard Phillip Lovecraft was born in his family home in Providence, Rhode Island. His mother's family was of substantial means as they were involved in business ventures. I've been involved in business ventures and it hasn't always been substantial. But anyway, when Lovecraft was 3, his father had a psychotic episode and was institutionalized in Butler Hospital in Providence. It is said he was doing and saying strange things at times. For a year before he was committed, he spent 5 years at Butler, then passed away. You know, so be it. Lovecraft then resided in the family home with his mother, maternal aunts, and grandparents. So they had quite a group. Or as we spoke with Dr. Arash from Golden Years, he had a supportive group. His grandfather, Whipple Phillips, became the center of his entire universe, he said. At 3, he was already proficient at reading and writing and was encouraged to have an appreciation of literature, especially classical literature and English poetry. And the Whipple business suffered a catastrophic failure. His family's wealth was reduced, and he died soon after due to a stroke. That was Whipple, correct? Okay. Lovecraft called this time one of the darkest of his life. He was removed from high school for long periods. for what he termed near breakdowns and had conflicts with teachers. However, he excelled in chemistry and physics. Let me show you what some of that chemistry looks like. There you go, huh? Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Lovecraft's earliest known literary works were written at the age of 7, mainly poems. After high school, he said he had a nervous collapse and was prey to intense headaches, insomnia, and weakness, which prevented his continuous application to do anything. He said that he could hardly bear to see or speak to anyone. He began writing essays for the United Amateur Press Association. Influenced by Edgar Allan Poe, he wrote and published stories that focused on his interpretation of humanity's place in the universe. Lovecraft got married, moved to New York, and joined the Authors Club, which later became the Lovecraft Club. That's how big that name became. The members introduced him to the publication Weird Tales, a horror fiction pulp magazine. Throughout his adult life, Lovecraft was never able to support himself from earnings as an author. He was virtually unknown and almost exclusively published in pulp magazines before his death. That is too bad. And in no way it reflects what people think about him in his career and his writing today. He remained active as a writer until his death at the age of 46. 46, not very old. The H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival and Cthulhu Con is now going at the Columbus Theater in Providence, Rhode Island. This event was founded in 1995 and celebrates the cosmic horror and weird tales of the author. That doesn't mean it's continuously going on. It means it except for the COVID stuff, it's something that happens
for his birthday.
Every year on his birthday, which would mean about right now, but I don't think it's going on this year. Don't know for sure. It's an exhibition of works by independent filmmakers, book signings, and musical performances. So I think I mentioned that we had gone to a Lovecraft Festival in San Pedro at the Warner Theater, which is a beautiful, used to be the Fox Theater or whatever, just a beautiful place. And here are some of the films that were, these are interpretations. They're not actually, word for word or anything like that. Call of Cthulhu, 2005, director was Andrew Lehman. Reanimator, 1985, directed by Stuart Gordon, 2 first names. I believe that Gordon has recently passed away. Starred Jeffrey Combs, who I think came up last week in discussion, and was in Twin Peaks and a lot of other things. Bruce Abbott. Here is, again, I'll show this again. I don't know whether this is a comedy or a drama. It's a comic drama. It is gory to the point where you want to laugh when you see the things. It's extremely entertaining and highly recommended by yours truly. The Color Out of Space, there were at least 2 versions. One in 2010 by Juan Vu, German, that's in black and white. Another version in 2019, directed by Richard Stanley, who had not directed a film since The Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando. And it starred Nicolas Cage, Tommy Chung, and I thought it was really, really, really good. And I would highly recommend it. I think we saw it on Netflix or one of those. I don't know if it's still available or you can buy it or stream it, but it's definitely worthwhile. That's the time when Nicolas Cage made a couple of really weird movies. There was this one and Mandy. And I recommend both of them. But anyway, the Dunwich Horror, 1970, directed by Daniel Heller. who also directed Die, Monster Die, which was adapted from another Lovecraft story. Also, well, no, From the Color Out of Space. And that was with Frankenstein himself.
Um,
Who played Frankenstein in the first one?
Christopher.
Oh, no, way
Boris
back.
Karloff?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Boris
Oh, yeah.
Karloff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And Nick Adams.
Dunwich, yeah, Nick Adams. Dunwich starred Dean Stockwell, Sandra Dee, and Ed Begley. Not as good as, well, the Dunwich Horror is one of the more famous of his stories, but that other Nicolas Cage movie was way better. The Mouth of Madness pays tribute to the work of H.P. Lovecraft, and that was John Carpenter starring Sam Neill. And I really like this film. Here's the Laserdisc version, bigger pictures. Probably nothing that you can really make out on the back, but so this is really, really good also. And I think one of the better John Carpenter films, and he does a lot of good ones. And I think I told you we bought the soundtrack from Carpenter's remake of Children of the Damned. It is really good. I mean, I like Carpenter's music, but I come to expect one type of music. And he sure outdid himself. And somebody else was in there also, and I don't remember who that was offhand. But as I watch it more and more, I will. It was a record store day, the first of the 2 record store days this year. And we picked it up, and very happy I did. And with that, let me remind you, you are listening to the Educated Retirement Radio here on your home planet, 1490 KMET Radio, the mighty Met, broadcasting, as Daryl McCants would say, from the center of the world, or California. And so be it. So www.drheckham.com, 866-955-2233, just, real quick. And let's go to, did I get them all out? Did I show them all? I showed them all, yeah. Okay. Amy Adams was born on this day in 1974. Makes her quite a bit younger than me. Her full name was Amy Lou Adams, American actress and producer. I'm not sure I know of her in the capacity of a producer, but she was one, or is one. She was born in Italy. Her father was stationed there with the U.S. Army in Vicenza, Italy. She is the middle of 7 children. I am the middle of any number you want. I'm also the oldest and the youngest. I guess that makes me the only one. So, family settled in Colorado when she was 8, and after leaving the Army, her father sang professionally in nightclubs and restaurants. Okay. After her parents divorced, the children remained with their mother, who became a professional bodybuilder. Amy has compared her early years as being a scrappy, tough kid, as she fought frequently with other children. Well, so there. Amy was not academically inclined in high school, but was interested in the creative arts and sang in the school choir. She had ambitions of becoming a ballerina, disliked high school, and kept to herself. She did not go to college and realized she was not gifted enough to be a professional ballerina, found musical theater more to her taste, and one of her first stage roles was in a community theater production of Annie. And we talked about Annie last week because we talked about Annie Oakley, right?
Yes.
Because it was her birthday. And I even showed some funky records, like with, anyway, we talked about that. We talked about that already. She continued performing in dinner theaters for some time till she attended a local audition for Drop Dead Gorgeous, which turned out to be her first major feature film, and it was filmed locally as she was able to continue Brigadoon on stage while working on the movie. I actually don't remember her in this movie. Do you?
Yeah, not a major part. She was,
This movie is so funny, and I'm not a big comedy type person unless it's like a dark comedy. This movie was so funny. I don't know if you've seen it. Drop Dead Gorgeous. Sean, did you ever see that? It's
I
real.
don't think so. No.
It's really, really funny. And for somebody who doesn't always like comedies, to me, Doctor Strangelove was a comedy. So for me to like this kind of comedy, it's saying something, I think, anyway. It just, there's some other things I can talk about at another time, but Ellen Barkin was in it as an old, I mean, it's just crazy, but highly recommended. She was encouraged by actress Kirstie Alley, who was also in Drop Dead Gorgeous, a bigger part, to pursue a film career. So she moved to Los Angeles. After several small films and guest roles in television series like Buffy the Vampire Killer and Charmed, she co-starred in Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio. She failed to boost her career, so she took a year off to take acting classes. In time, Amy starred in several successful films, and she's done close to 50 films, pretty young for 50 films, and has been nominated for an Academy Award 6 times. So I guess she learned something in that school. She attracts little gossip and strives to keep a work-life balance with her actor partner, husband, and child in Beverly Hills, where else, and describes her life as pretty low-key. She works with underprivileged students as part of New York City's Ghetto Film School, and Variety honored Amy for her work with them. And here's a short list of films. Drop Dead Gorgeous, which we already talked about, 1999, directed by Michael Patrick. Michael Patrick Jann, Jann, co-starring Christine Dunst, Denise Richards, Ellen Barkin, Kirstie Allen. Then there was Catch Me If You Can, 2002, directed by Steven Spielberg, co-starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Martin Sheen. Film nominated for 2 Oscars. Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, where she played the one that flew, and
Earhart.
yeah, Amelia Earhart. Reincarnation, because, well, if you saw the Smithsonian films, you know what I mean. Director Sean Levy, co-starred Ben Stiller, Robin Williams, Owen Wilson, the Master. And we talked about this, and we also tied in Paul Thomas Anderson and his No, that's the wrong person. That's okay. No, the Master, not Svengoolie, but Goulardi. But in any case, we talked about the Master quite a bit the other day, a couple of weeks ago. Phillip Seymour Hoffman, it was his birthday. We talked about that then, along with Joaquin Phoenix, who another outstanding performance. Laura Dern, and the film was nominated for 3 Academy Awards. American Hustle, which I never saw, 2013, directed by David O. Russell, co-starring Christian Bale, Jennifer Lawrence, Bradley Cooper. Remember when Bradley Cooper was with every movie that ever came out? Luckily, we got some breathing room. But if you want to see Bradley Cooper in a cool movie, even though the name of it really isn't, it kind of might put you off, would be Midnight Meat Train. And it is pretty cool. Kind of a horror mystery, kind of turns upside down near the end. But anyway, Robert De Niro was also in there, and film nominated for 10 Oscars, including Best Picture. Then there was Big Eyes, which was directed by Tim Burton. And that was about that lady that, I don't know if you remember, Sean's maybe too young, but there, everybody's home you went to had copies of these children with huge eyes. I mean, it was everywhere. And I guess there were some twists and turns in the Tim Burton film that gave out the truth. And it co-starred Christoph Waltz and Margaret H.D. Keene, or the original artist portrayed by Adams. So I guess the original artist was alive and well at the time. One of the best science fiction films ever made, in my humble opinion, Arrival. And director is Dennis Villeneuve. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Villeneuve, obviously French-Canadian. Well, not obviously, he's Canadian, so it's French-Canadian. He also was the director of Blade Runner 2049, which I thought was a masterpiece, and the upcoming Dune, which I hope will be a masterpiece. Co-starred Jeremy Renner, who is, Forrest Whitaker, who's a great guy. A film nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and one for sound editing. And it is an amazing story. Gimme. There's just a... And, is it Arrival or The Arrival?
Just Arrival.
Arrival, because there was another film called The Arrival, which I thought was pretty cool too. But this is much more serious, and about a bunch of aliens that were trying to teach us about language and the connection of language, communication, and time. And you don't really learn about the time. I'm not giving anything away, but it is so imaginative. It just blowed me away. This is a great film. And here is how the language is kind of told or communicated. Almost like smoke rings and things like that. But Sean, did you see Arrival?
Yes, I really liked that movie. It was good.
Yeah, so there. An old guy like me and a young kid like Sean, both of us liked it. There's a little bit more language right there. Now, the guy that wrote the music for this was like one of my favorite, can't see anything here. One of my favorite classical, hard to say classical, composers. Johann Johansen, and this is, I mean, there's not much there. It's got an embossed cover, which you can't really see. It's on Deutsche Grammophon. What fell down? Oh, you know what? This was before I was into hype stickers. Excuse me, folks. This is the digital download, which I've already downloaded. I mean, his music is amazing. The last film he did music for was Mandy, which we talked about earlier. And then he died of accidental overdose. So I don't know. We got cut short there. He wrote some great film scores. To me, anyway, they were also this Theory of Everything. Pretty much all the other Dennis Villeneuve films before that, Socorro, and just, now the film score for Blade Runner 20, here is the film score, Blade Runner 2049, was very good. It was along the same lines, and it was Hans Zimmer and Benjamin Wallfish. And I know both of those names, and probably the Hans Zimmer name is the one that is by far more recognizable to most people. But it's along those same lines, a little bit spacier, less classical-ish. But I thought this film was a masterpiece. And I think, remember, the original Blade Runner is looked at as a masterpiece right now. And when it first came out, they didn't think much of it either. And of course, they thought even less of 2001 when it came out. So there. We got some honorable mentions. Ray Wise. Do we have a picture? Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Who I thought I hadn't heard of, but I sure do recognize him. And there he is. Let me put him here as if he's me, because he's better looking than me. But then again, who ain't? Well, that reminds me of a line from the original Blade Runner. She won't live, but then again, who does? Anyway, that's over with. He was also in RoboCop, which we love, and I think most people do also. What you got
Now
there?
he was in One Missed Call, but this is the original version, which is Korean, I believe.
Korean One Missed Call. Why don't I remember it?
Remember when we were watching a lot of those
Korean
Asian
and
horror
Asian.
films?
Yeah, Asian horror films are pretty
So good.
wonderful. I'm not sure which one. Oh, what is this? How about that for a CD? Huh? What do you think? Wow. I don't think I ever knew this was in there before. I don't have a way to play CDs, right? Oh, I do on my computer. We're going to have to check that out. We're going to have to watch these films anyway. Is this Korean or Japanese?
I
Think Korean? Okay. And Old Boy is a must. If you haven't seen Old Boy, oh boy, you need to see Old Boy. It's about revenge, but not the revenge you think it is. And of course, lately they came out with, to me, and I know it might be sacrilegious to say that Night of the Living Dead is not my favorite zombie film, but excuse me, Last Train to Busan. Wow, what visuals. Last Train to Busan. It spends about 10 minutes up front getting to know people, and then thereafter it's nonstop action, but it is entertaining action, and it's not very gory. So, wow, it's a great film. Anyway, Ray Wise has been an American actor in over 50 films, and I kind of remember him very much for his role as Leland Palmer in Twin Peaks, also Swamp Thing. One Missed Call, which we just showed, RoboCop, television series such as Heart to Heart, which was one of my wife's favorite, not mine. I think there's a show on KMET called Heart to Heart. Is that true, Sean? I think.
Yes, there sure is. It's Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m.
Well, let's give her a plug. The A-Team, Barnaby Jones, and things like that. Jack Keygarden, which I see his records everywhere now, but I couldn't find one here at home. But he was born on this day in 1905, and he passed away again too young, 1964. And Jack was an American jazz trombonist and singer, mainly in jazz Dixieland, swing, and big band music. Andrew Garfield was also, and I don't know, if it were up to me, and I have this team of professional writers, of course, I wouldn't have put him in honorable mentions. I would have put him right up front. I really like this guy, and there he is. I don't know if he looks familiar. He was born on this day in 1983. An American-British actor in over 20 films, including The Amazing Spider-Man. Here he is in his spider getup. And The Social Network. Under the Silver Lake. I am the only person I know of that liked that movie. I thought it was really cool. It is really strange. Made by the same director whose name escapes me right now. Same director that did It Follows, and I thought It Follows. Did you see It Follows, Sean? That was pretty good.
That doesn't ring a bell, no.
Okay, it's a horror film, but it's easy to take, but it is very strange. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which we talked about, was it last week? Terry Gilliam film, And this was the last film that Keith Ledger did. In fact, he died during the filming, and it was his part in the film was taken over by other people. Still a really, really cool film. The Keith Ledger part was taken over by Johnny Depp for part of it, Colin Farrell for another part of it, and Jude Law. So it turned out to be interesting from that point of view, but I hate to say that Heath Ledger's death was interesting. It was tragic, and it was way too soon. Kind of like the other guy we just talked about in The Master, and
Philip Seymour Hoffman,
and also Johann Johansen. Just crazy. Anyway, Christopher Plummer was a major person in there, as was Tom Waits. Tom Waits actually played the devil, kind of the anti-protagonist. Christopher Plummer was the protagonist, and highly recommended. And how about Robert Plant, who is 1948 on this day, so makes him 2 years younger than me. And if you want to see what he looks like, there he is. Where's another picture? Boy, he looks like the Radicast, the brown in this one. But he's still active, as you all know. And he played in a small band called Led Zeppelin. Now, this is a live record. We haven't even played it yet. It's a live record, or a live performance. But, let me, just for the heck of it, there's a nice booklet that comes with it. Have you looked through this booklet yet?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Look at that. Led Zeppelin, heavy and light. Kind of like, what is it? So many names are like that. More pictures, mostly of Plant, and not to be confused with plants in the backyard. But, that's that for... Anyway, he was the lead singer in Led Zeppelin, and Plant was nominated for 17 Grammy Awards and won 7. And while you are rewarding yourself, let me remind you that you are rewarding yourself by virtue of being here on the Educated Retirement Radio Show. And what are these?
On this day?
Huh?
On this day?
Oh, okay, still coming up. So you are listening to the Educated Retirement on KMET. And what we're going to do next is, I don't know whether NASA Nellie is in range yet or not. She might be. I can't believe the time is going by so fast. I guess she is. So we're going to let NASA Nellie take over for a few minutes. Go get 'em, NASA Nellie.
The Kelly Hopkinsville Encounter, also known as the story of the Hopkinsville Goblins. In Hopkinsville, Kentucky, on the evening of August 21st, 1955, the local police station got the surprise of their lives when 5 adults and 7 children arrived with the truly out-of-this-world story. Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor led the group that claimed that small alien creatures from a spaceship were attacking their farmhouse, and they had been holding them off with gunfire. Okay, from the beginning. The group reported that they witnessed a flying saucer landing near the farmhouse they were staying at. 12 to 15 little men surrounded the house, popping up at the doorway and peering at the families through the windows as they attempted to enter the cabin. They claimed to have fought off the little men with a shotgun and a pistol for several hours. The creatures were short, with long arms and webbed hands, large, bright, offset eyes, and pointed ears. The police investigated the incident and found no tracks or markings outside of the home, only the evidence of gunshots fired from inside. Another officer reported seeing a meteor shower in the area, but no flying saucer. Media quickly spread the strange news of the Hopkinsville Goblins, or Little Men. Reporting about this incident helped to popularize the term little green men as a generic term used for aliens, although the color green was never mentioned. Some of the explanations were from test flight monkeys used in rocket experiments crashing in the area to the shock of a sighting of a meteor shower, and in the state of panic, likely intoxicated, confused a pair of aggressive great horned owls for the extraterrestrials. The United States Air Force classified the incident as a hoax in the Project Blue Book files. Later, copycat sightings occurred, such as a group of teenagers reported seeing 10 of the creatures at a high school field as they threw rocks at them. Another instance was when a man reported that he was grabbed and pulled underwater by a lizard man while swimming in the Ohio River. Today in Kelly, Kentucky, an annual Little Green Men Days festival is proudly celebrated in August with live music, arts, crafts, and rides. Visitors arrive in costume as their favorite superhero and extraterrestrial. Hopkinsville is about a 6-hour drive to the little town of Hellier, Kentucky. This small town is the site of a documentary that was released on Amazon in 2019. It was produced by paranormal researchers Greg and Dana Newkirk as they followed a list of clues to investigate the sightings of goblins in the town of Hellier. The case started with an unusual email that Greg received from a man who claimed that he and his family were being terrorized by unearthly creatures by night. One can't help but imagine that maybe the same type of creatures from the 1955 incident in Hopkinsville may have been also making Hellier their home after all these years.
Well, it's Kentucky, and what better place for little green men? I shouldn't say that because I don't know how you're going to take it. I have never been to Kentucky. I can't tell you, but I know there's a lot of jokes about the area. I have been to West Virginia, and I think it is maybe one of the most beautiful states we have, and so there. But I'm going to highly recommend the Hellier. And the thing is, in this series, you get to see how they work. And I don't buy very much of that way of working. The kind of rituals they do, she calls herself, the good witch, and what she does to get a hold. But I do find it extremely interesting to see how this part of society works. Now, as far as the little green men, I think that's pretty interesting because we have grays. We don't seem to have green. And is NASA Nellie leaving? I don't know. Are you going to be around for... Oh, there she goes. So she is on her way. But I do find it real interesting that little green men came out of who knows where. Now, I've seen the people and the relatives, surviving people from that family talk. And, I got to say, I believe them. They were attacked by something. Were they the goblins of Hellier, which supposedly they were following stories about these little goblins that lived in caves, and there's a lot of caves in Kentucky. And or were they actually aliens? Who knows? Are they aliens that decided to stay in Kentucky like NASA Nellie suggested? I don't know, but I find it very interesting. These, I don't know where that went. The picture of the goblins themselves, but they you see a lot of different investigations do kind of find those people. Oh, here we go. They find things that look like this. I haven't seen one. Some of my friends look close to that, but not exactly. And Hellier, the series, it doesn't just concentrate on that. It starts there and it goes a lot of different places. And the director, whose name I don't have offhand, I find it really does a great job, cinematographer, a really great job of putting those things together. So what else happened on this day? Abominable Snowman was released. And we've talked about this show before. I think Val Guest's birthday. in 1957, the director being Val Guest for Hammer Film Productions, written by Nigel Neal, who I think those two together did a lot of the work with the Quatermass series, which we can talk about on a different show. Oh yeah, the creators of Quatermass, Bernard Quatermass. Abominable Snowman stars Peter Cushing, and Cushing's first of 22 Hammer films. And you know what? This is not your normal Hammer film. This is a good film. And it's basically good versus evil within humans. And guess who the people, the entities that teach the lesson is the Abominable Snowman. It also had Forrest Tucker, and Forrest Tucker did this film about 1 year, I believe, prior to The Abominable Snowman, and you can see maybe some of the same ideas. This one is a little bit more, I shouldn't say as serious as that one. This one is just good fun. Look at that thing. That's just wonderful. And it starred Forrest Tucker, Janet Monroe, who died tragically not too long after. We talked about Janet on another show a while back, but highly recommended. So this film, The Abominable Snowman, a British scientist joins an American expedition to search the Himalayas for the legendary Yeti. So, of course, who was the good guy? It was the British scientist. Who was the bad guy? Of course, the American. I mean, what else? The film was shot in anamorphic widescreen format called the Regalscope at the time, and renamed Hammerscope because it was a Hammer film by the production company. Val Guest's view was that the Yeti should be kept largely off screen, with just a few glimpses of hands and arms, leaving the rest to the audience imagination. In the United States, the reviews were very positive, and is now considered something of a minor classic. I think it's a major classic, because what's the difference? It's how much you like it. The release of the film was overshadowed somewhat by the Hammer's classic at the time, The Curse of Frankenstein, which was released at the same time with Christopher Lee, same stuff. So, we're trying to have some comedy here near the end of the show, which I can't believe is already over. And of course, I'll start with Sean's favorite joke. What do you call a frozen pickle hanging from the roof? An ice pickle. That had to do with pickles, though, we did on one of the shows. But I wanted to, let's get in here. How about your people skills are just fine? It's your tolerance for idiots that need work. Okay. How about on time is when you get there? Okay, that I think has to do with being older. This is a group of films that have to do with being older. Not that I am, but So you don't need anger management. No. You need people to stop pissing you off. So thinking of people skills, again, your people skills are just fine. Oh, I already said that one, didn't I? The biggest line you tell yourself is, I don't need to write that down. I'll remember it. Yeah, these are old-time jokes. And on time is when you get there, which I already said. But growing older should have taken longer. That's not exactly a joke. But lately, you've noticed people your age are so much older than you. That's right. I like that. Let me repeat that again. Lately, you've noticed people your age are so much older than you. Now, here's a little known fact that while Jews make up about 20% of the U.S. population, there was a time when they made up 50% of the famous comedians, according to a UC Berkeley professor who studies humor. So you may remember the old Jewish Catskill comics of vaudeville days. Shecky Green, Red Buttons, Toddy Fields, who I don't remember, Joey Bishop, Milton Berle, Jan Murray. Jan Murray. Isn't he the one that did the movies, the home movies? Yeah, he was. Danny Kaye, Henny Youngman. Oh, boy, is he funny. Buddy Hackett, Sid Caesar, crazy. Groucho Marx, Jackie Mason, Woody Allen, Lenny Bruce, George Burns, Alan Sherman, Jerry Lewis, and Carl Reiner. And we just to mention a few more, Shelley Berman. I don't know if I mentioned him or not. Gene Wilder, George Jessel, Alan King, Mel Brooks, Phil Silvers, Jack Carter, Rodney Dangerfield, Don Rickles, Jack Benny, and so many others. And amazingly, there was not one single swear word in their comedy. And here's just a couple examples. I just got back from a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. Now, I do like that. And I'm not a comedian. I wish I had a better way of presenting these things, like Bruce, who was on the show the other time. Let me repeat that because I like it. I just got back from a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. And, yeah. Okay. I've been in love. What's that?
I've got one.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I've been in love with the same woman for 49 years. If my wife ever finds out, she'll kill me. Okay, I've got the director of the show wants to tell one. Go ahead.
Never trust atoms. They make up everything.
Not bad. Not bad. You want to repeat that again?
Never trust atoms. They make up everything.
Okay.
I got another one.
All right, have at it.
I used to think I was indecisive, but now I'm not sure.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's good. What are 3 words a woman never wants to hear when she's making love? Honey, I'm home. Someone stole all my credit cards, but I won't be reporting it. The theft spends less than my wife did. Okay, that's not bad either. And
I've got one.
go ahead, have at it.
I failed math so many times at school, I can't even count.
Okay, do it again. I did get it, yes, but you do it again.
I failed math so many times at school, I can't even count.
Sean, you got any jokes for us?
No, I sure don't.
All right. Well, how about, here's another one about wives. We always hold hands. If I let go, she shops. Okay. My wife and I went to a hotel where we got a waterbed. My wife called it the Dead Sea. Okay. She was at the beauty shop for 2 hours. That was only for the estimate. Oh, man.
Here's a good one.
Okay.
Most people are shocked when they find out how bad I am as an electrician.
Okay. Do that one again.
Most people are shocked when they find out how bad I am as an electrician.
That is good. Let me repeat the one I said before because I kind of like it. Okay. She was at the beauty shop for 2 hours. That was only for the estimate. I thought that's pretty good. How about the one where she got a mud pack and looked great for 2 days, then the mud fell off? Okay. Oh, God. This one kind of goes with our show.
Here, I've got another one.
All right, let me do one more and then I'll let go. The doctor gave a man 6 months to live. The man couldn't pay his bills, so the doctor gave him another 6 months. Not bad.
Don't you hate it when someone answers their own questions? I do.
Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, we only got 1 minute, so I will do one more. The doctor said, "You live to be 60." The patient said, "I am 60." The doctor said, "See, what did I tell you?" All right.
I got one.
Oh, here's a good one here. All right, go ahead. We're running out of time.
A termite walks into the bar and asks, "Is the bartender here?"
Here's another Dr. Jewish joke. Patient, I have a ringing in my ears. Doctor, don't answer it. Okay. So that will be the show for today. Thank you so much for being with us. And take care of yourself. I really enjoy doing this. I hope you enjoy to some extent, well, no, to a larger extent, that we are doing it. And we will see you next week. Hopefully, hear you next week. And I really want to thank Sean, our producer, our engineer, the doctors at, Golden Ears. And remember, Kaplan will be here in front of the same cigar store next week. Take care of yourselves very much. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show.